Ladies and gentlemen, here we are. Happy New Year. Back at the studio. Hudson County View, live and uncut. John R. Highness, your favorite host with the most. And we're going to keep it simple today. We got a lot to talk about. So, first of all, you guys all know that Jersey City has a ballot question now that'll be in November, and we're going to decide whether or not it'll be an appointed or an elected school board. And the Jersey City Council voted on that last night. It took over 5 hours, and needless to say, not everybody was happy, and we'll show you exactly what happened. Several were escorted out by police. It was quite a show, to put it mildly. So we want to tell you all about that. On that similar note, the former Jersey City Board of Education President Sudhan Thomas was charged for the second time in 15 days on Friday when the U.S. Attorney's Office accused him of embezzling $45,000 from the Jersey City Employment and Training Program. This comes after the New Jersey State Attorney General's office accused him of taking $35,000 in cash bribes in relation to a potential 2021 council run. So a lot of people had a lot of things to say about Sudhan last night, so we're certainly going to tell you more about that as well. And of course, we have a guest in studio today, and we have Hoboken 6th Ward Councilwoman and of course the Council President, Jen Giattano, and she's going to talk to us a little bit about a number of topics, including this potential budget shortfall, which could lead to 80 layoffs, according to Business Administrator Stephen Marks. So we certainly have a lot more in mind beyond that, but we're going to talk some Biosquare City government and politics with her as well. But we're going to take our first commercial break of the new year. We'll see you in just a moment.
It takes more than a state-of-the-art medical facility to make a great hospital. It takes a team of dedicated medical professionals. That's the Jersey City Medical Center, Hudson County's #1 hospital. Medical teams consisting of New Jersey's top doctors, Magnet Award-winning nurses, and accomplished hospital associates, all committed to your good health. That's what you have at the Jersey City Medical Center. Make Hudson County's #1 hospital your first choice. Visit us on the web at barnabashealth.org. Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, Jersey City. Hudson County's only monument maker, serving all faiths and cemeteries. Design, studio, and large inventory on site. Cemetery inscriptions and custom orders welcome. Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, just south of Secaucus Road. Craftsmanship that will last for all eternity. Burns Brothers, Jersey City, Albert H. Hopper, North Arlington. Visit us on the net.
Hudson County View, live and uncut. John R. Highness. So let's tell you a little bit about this council meeting last night. Once again, over 5 hours, they were voting on a school board referendum for November, leaving it up to the voters now to decide whether or not they will stick with an elected school board or if they will decide to go back to an appointed board. So that measure ended up passing by a vote of 7-1-1. Ward C Councilman Rich Giattano voted no, and Councilman at large Rolando Lavarro abstained. It was quite a meeting. We saw dozens of residents speaking out against this measure. Only one person actually spoke in favor of letting the voters decide. And we also saw the Jersey City Police involved a bit. As I mentioned at the top of the show, there was a handful of people escorted out, including the Jersey City Education Association President Ron Greco. So I think the clip could speak to it better than I can. So why don't you take a look?
Sounds to me like if we have the power to appoint the Board of Education, we can then control them. How is the mayor's track record for appointments? We've had 5 recreation directors in 5 years. His appointed chief of staff, Mohammed Akil, resigned over controversies surrounding racist remarks and attempts to rig a bid. His former appointed corporate counsel, Jeremy Farrell, was also appointed to the NUA, was collecting 2 salaries on the taxpayer's back, and now works for a developer. His appointment for another board was arrested for embezzlement last week. Is this dysfunctional enough for you?
There's no plan. How can you get up there and deal with absolutes? We will fix it. I mean, one of the quotes says, we will fix the school system. But you haven't voiced any plan. You want to get the vote, but you don't have a plan. I want to lose weight. I had 3 cookies and a Coke today. It's not working that way.
The board members you refer to resigned over a 3-year period beginning in 2016. They were for health or personal reasons. The indictment and private comment had nothing to do with board business, and the budget gap exists because the state is cutting money the city should be giving us. JSA had all of the mayor's 9 board members resign in less than half the time of the 5 board members for other reasons, and it was described as chaotic, where even a minister on the board was cursed out.
Asking the people to vote in order to give up the right to vote is something straight out of George Orwell. Right? My family and I came to this great country from Soviet Union. And honestly, I believe that no immigrant that has ever tasted totalitarian regime would ever again willingly give up the right to vote.
Elections aren't always perfect. Donald Trump was elected. So elections aren't always perfect, is what I'm saying. The way the Board of Ed, and I really like James' opinion piece today, and I recommend everyone read it, because he's not saying throw out the board. He's not saying the mayor should select the board. He's saying we should look at a solution.
Complete faith in them that things are going to change. And on that matter, I say no.
Well, I think we could agree that that was one for the record books. You don't see that every day, even in Hudson County. This morning, I had a chance to speak with Mayor Stephen Fulop over the phone as he reacted to some of the very heated commentary that we saw over there. He told me, we want to give people a choice on who they want to hold accountable. There could be no referendum if the Board of Ed acts responsibly. It's easier to hold me accountable because people are more familiar with who the mayor and the council are. We fixed our budget, the police department and the fire department, not saying the city's perfect, but we've successfully taken on a number of difficult situations before. So with that said, we also saw a Facebook post, well, at least I saw a Facebook post a few moments just before walking into the studio, and Ward F Councilman Jermaine Robinson apologized for losing his cool. He said that it won't happen again, and he regrets for speaking out the way that he did. So this is certainly going to be an interesting 10 months in Jersey City. Of course, it always is, but this is going to add an extra wrinkle, of course, to these Board of Education races that were already going to be on the ballot in November. So with that, we're going to take another commercial break, and we're going to be back with Hoboken Council President Jen Giattano. Stick around.
Newport, the luxury waterfront community on the Hudson River, offers the quality of life you deserve in 10 high-rise rental towers with amenities such as the on-site Newport Path subway, light rail and ferry service, Newport Town Square, 3 playgrounds, dog run, upscale restaurants, retail giants like Sears, JCPenney, Macy's, and Target. Morton Williams Supermarket is just outside your front door. A health and fitness club, spa, skating rink, and medical facilities are also on site. NewportNJ.com. Enjoy the New York skyline from Newport Town Square. Manhattan is just one path stop away or quick ride through the Holland Tunnel. Nursery and private elementary schools all on site. 12-screen movie theater at the Newport Center Mall. Want to visit Newport? Stay at the Westin or Marriott Hotel. Go to newportng.com for details. Newport has luxurious towers, great restaurants, shopping, New York skyline views, schools, playgrounds, a marina and yacht club, gym, spa, fine wine, fine living. It's incredible. It's you. newportnj.com. Newport, live like you want.
The Jersey City Medical Center. You know it for its award-winning, life-saving ambulance service. It's also your health hub, with health and wellness locations staffed with certified professionals all through Hudson County. The Jersey City Medical Center, here to help you with your healthy, here when you need us the most. The Jersey City Medical Center. Visit us on the net to learn more. Jersey City Medical Center, Robert Wood Johnson, Barnabas Health Facility. Let's be healthy together.
Hudson County View, live and uncut. John Arhitis, and once again, we're joined with Hoboken Council President Jen Giattano. Jen, thanks for taking time out of your schedule.
Thanks for having me.
Always a pleasure. So, I don't know how many people were expecting it. I mean, I certainly would have placed a bet on it if I had to. But Council President again, I believe that's for the last 5 years, right? So, just what does it mean to get appointed to this post yet again?
Oh, you threw me off for a sec. I thought you were going to ask about the budget, but that's not what you're talking about.
I am. Just pleasantries for a moment.
It's extremely humbling, actually, to be made Council President again. I definitely enjoy doing it. It's very nice to be on all the committees if you so wish, so you can partake in everything going on in Hoboken. I made the subcommittees. Don't ask me who they are off the top of my head, but I made the subcommittees went out this morning. And I look forward to working with the new council member and all the previous ones.
And I'm guessing everybody's thrilled with those subcommittees and is just delighted to take them as they are?
I did do a really good job of, I always ask everyone, what committee, put down your top 3 committees. And I try to get everyone on at least 2 of them. This year, I believe almost everyone has 3 of their choices, and then some of them have an additional committee that they don't necessarily want to be on.
Very diplomatic. So let's talk about the budget, which was the main thing that I told you we wanted to discuss today. And obviously, it's an important issue for Hoboken. So needless to tell you, at this last meeting, we learned that there could be a $7 million deficit. And I believe that appropriation you guys did was in the neighborhood of $30 million, correct?
Yes.
And,
yeah.
Stephen Mark said, as I mentioned again earlier, that there could be 80 layoffs. And I'm sure that that's not really going to happen, but it does seem like there's going to be a big tax increase with some layoffs. Would that be fair to say?
I do think it's too early to say, because even the $7 million number isn't written in stone, so we have to wait to really understand what that number is. I do think saying 80 layoffs was not I don't think that was the approach that should have been taken. I believe what he was trying to say is, if we are to have 0 tax increase and we have a $7 million deficit, 80 layoffs can settle, can take care of that issue. Clearly, we have, and I'm not speaking for the administration, but speaking for myself, and I believe other council members, we have no intention of having 80 people laid off to fix whatever the budget deficit is. It's going to have to be, making cuts, looking for ways to find additional revenue, and I'm sure there will be some layoffs that happen, but I would like to see that kept to a minimum.
Of course.
And Hoboken residents don't want to see any services cut. I am quite certain of that. So if layoffs equals services cut, we'll have another issue on our hands.
All right, so, obviously you guys are going to have a very difficult budget season. I mean, not that it's ever fun, I would imagine, but, he mentioned at that meeting that the municipal court revenues are down, that the parking utility's down, and it just sounds like there just isn't a ton of new revenue coming in. So, I mean, has there been any discussions about how to offset any of these issues?
We are looking in particular at the parking revenues, parking and transportation revenues, but I think almost everyone in Hoboken is in agreement that a residential parking permit at $15 a year is a little bit silly. You bring it up to $50 and it's still less than $1 a month. I'm sorry, $1 a week. So $15 is a number that it shouldn't be. Last year, or maybe it was a year and a half ago when we raised the meter prices, I think it was done too drastically. There should have been, over a period of time, we should have raised the prices instead of just, some spots you would go to and it was more than $4 an hour when people were used to $1 an hour. It just was a little bit too extreme, but I do think there are spots in Hoboken that meters could be raised and we could collect extra revenue from that. And it would also benefit the city of Hoboken by creating turnover in areas where you want to see turnover.
All right, that makes sense. So Hoboken historically for the past decade, give or take a year, has been less than a 2% tax increase, and it's been in the neighborhood of at least since I've been around, $110 to $120, right? Mm-hmm. So now we're looking at a tax increase that is undetermined, but it's certainly going to be well above the 2%, I think is probably accurate, right? So how do we get to this point? Is it bonding, or were there just certain programs that dried up, or what exactly do you think led to this?
I do think the cost of health care is a huge factor in it. Mm-hmm. The city getting less and less, the city having to contribute more and more every year to pensions. They don't know, this number too, I don't believe is set in stone, but this year it's going to be $600,000 to $800,000 more than last year. And just expenses in general, we all know no one's expenses go down. They all go up every year. So there's no way to hold the line, keep taxes flat without increasing revenues and expect not to have a tax increase. And also ratables, we really don't have any new ratables that have come online. So that's an issue too.
So what does this mean for the major development projects, if you've had any discussions about them? When we're talking about the Elcor project, we're talking about the hotel. I mean, does this have an immediate impact on that?
On the projects moving forward?
Yeah.
Or are we looking to move them forward faster?
Or
so we get the
slower,
ratables?
Yeah.
I'd like to see the hotel done last year. That would be great. I think that, the hotel will be a huge benefit to the taxpayers of Hoboken in their tax bill. Elcor will also be a benefit, but I still think that's a ways away from being built out. Hopefully we will be voting on second reading of that in the beginning of February, first meeting in February, and possibly having a special meeting on January 22nd for first reading on Elcor. The new subcommittee on that, which is myself, Councilman DeFusco, Councilwoman Fisher, and Councilman Ramos, we've been working diligently to get that done. So I'm pretty confident that February we will have that plan adopted. All
right, very good. So let's talk about something that has less to do with the budget, but is still important to Hoboken. What I mean is the University Medical Center. Obviously, CarePoint has had its woes for about a year now. There's some pending litigation that appears to be holding up the deal with Barnabas Health. And, we all remember, well, I guess not all, but most of us remember what happened with the hospital, I guess it was already, 8 years ago now? 9 years ago?
2011.
So, obviously nobody wants to see a repeat of that situation, I would think. So, I mean, what are you hearing, and what do you think, the elected officials in Hoboken can do about what's happening over there?
I actually think it's the state legislators now that need to get involved. And I don't know this firsthand, but I am hearing that they're not really getting involved with the situation. I'm not sure why, if there's a political reason they're not, but they really should be. I mean, Hoboken needs a hospital. We need urgent care in Hoboken. I think there's 7 ways in and out of Hoboken, 7 roads that leave out of Hoboken. If something were to happen in Hoboken, we need a hospital in Hoboken. Just because, heaven forbid anything happened, trying to get out of Hoboken would be a nightmare. I remember in 2011, it was right when it was when I was elected for the first time, was when Hoboken CarePoint was looking to take over. And I was fearful, especially at that time I had 3 young kids, of not having a hospital in Hoboken. Heaven forbid an emergency happens, you need a hospital. Other places, I can understand if there's a hospital 10 miles away, but because you can get there. In Hoboken, you just can't get to these other places. And I hope that our state legislators realize how important that is to the citizenry of Hoboken and fight for us to get Barnabas and help push that through.
And real quick, Councilwoman, before we let you go, there's obviously not much happening in Hoboken on the ballot, but there is the freeholder races. So any feelings on the incumbent, Anthony Romano, and his reelection bid?
The one thing I can say about Stick is every time I call him and ask him about whatever it may be that has to do with the county, he somehow shows up for it. You know, if someone on Hudson Street calls me about a tree or a pothole or a stop sign, and I text or Stick or call him, somehow he's there trying to resolve the problem. So with that, I'm grateful.
Very good. Councilwoman, thanks so much for coming on today. Thank you, everyone, for watching. We're going to take a commercial break, but we're not done. We'll be right back.
Good Friend Self Storage in North Bergen, New Jersey is a fully climate-controlled facility equipped with state-of-the-art security, packing supplies, a Refer a Friend program, and multiple loading docks convenient for commercial use. Located just off of Route 3 at 4301 Tunnelly Avenue, Route 1 and 9. Call 201-867-2444 or visit us on the web today. Good Friend Self Storage. Let us be your good friend.
Consumer Carpets, 3408 Kennedy Boulevard in the Jersey City Heights, your one-stop store for residential and commercial floor treatments, carpeting, linoleum, tiles, laminates, hardwood floors, area rugs, remnants, all major brands, all in stock. Free estimates, same-day installation. Consumer Carpets, it's savings, selection, installation. Credit cards and debit cards accepted. Financing available. Consumer Carpets, price to fit your budget, installation to fit your schedule. On the net at consumercarpets.com. Consumer Carpets, Jersey City, 201-792-2712.
Panapinto Properties, Jersey City. Shaping the workplace with state-of-the-art office space and an address your company desires. Building residences that define your home environment. Adjacent to all modes of transportation. On-site parking available. The right address, the right lease. 201-521-9000 or visit on the web at panapintoproperties.com. Panapinto Properties, building Jersey City for everyone.
Rama Jewelers, located in the Lyndhurst Shopping Center at 413 Valley Brook Avenue, Lyndhurst. Come for all your jeweler needs at Rama Jewelers, where you will find a fine selection of necklaces, earrings, rings, and bracelets. Choose from one of our complete sets, our many signature items, or find the perfect engagement ring. Come on down. That's Rama Jewelers at 413 Valley Brook Ave, Lyndhurst. Call 201-939-5784 or visit us online today.
Introducing the MyJCMC app, powered by Practice Unite. The free MyJCMC app puts the power of healthcare at your fingertips. Go to the concierge for access to referrals, scheduling, and appointments, see emergency room wait times, and get directions to Jersey City Medical Center health locations. Read the latest JCMC news through their social media feed, find a doctor, and more. The MyJCMC app. We belong to you.
Hudson County View, live at Uncut. John R. Hydus, and I'm joined with Mark Bucinich. Mark, good to have you back.
Hey,
good to be back.
Yeah, good to see you. Happy New Year, John.
Yes. So Mark, obviously, you got to be the one that got to go to bed at a decent hour last night. Well, I gutted it out at the council meeting last night. You know, you win some, you lose some.
5 hours worth, right, John?
Little more than that, actually. But you know, who's counting? So that was quite a show, and you obviously noticed, and everyone who's seen the clip by now has noticed that a lot of people were pretty annoyed about this concept because of Sudhan Thomas. You know, obviously he was the acting director of JCEP, which was a board appointment that, you know, later led to a board vote that made him the acting director, right?
Sure.
And certainly he won an election in 2016 to get a 3-year term on the board.
That's right.
And, you know, since then, he's been indicted 2 times by 2 separate entities, the New Jersey Attorney General's office and the U.S. Attorney's offices, and in a very unusual move, I would have to say I've never seen this before at all, but the U.S. Attorney's office announced on Friday at 9:11 p.m. that he was getting charged with embezzling over $45,000 actually from JCEP. So obviously that was a big talking point among people last night, but this is certainly a situation that I don't really think I saw coming, not like this, not these 2 ones back to back. What about you?
I didn't see it coming either, John. I mean, we know that Sudhan Thomas has received his fair share of criticism. In fact, doesn't he have a court date today?
As a matter of fact, he does. We have our news correspondent, Corey McDonald, heading over to U.S. District Court in Newark, where Sudhan will be making his first appearance on those federal charges.
Mm-hmm. You know, John, it's interesting. I mean, he did have the support and backing of Jersey City Mayor Stephen Fuller, but now with these charges coming to the fore, obviously they've, especially when his leadership position at the Jersey City Employment and Training Program, when they realized that these charges were coming forward, they obviously realized that support wasn't there anymore.
Well, I mean, I don't think you're wrong, but I mean, it's kind of a long timeline there. But so when we're talking about the JSEP stuff, you know, he started in January, maybe, I'm going to say mid-January of last year, shortly after the former governor, Jim McGreevey, was voted out. And a lot of people think that, or believe and have expressed that was at the bidding, at the behest of Mayor Fulop, right? You know, certainly he appoints the board members with council approval. We know that. Of course. But regardless, you know, they both made some allegations that McGreevey had misappropriated funding. McGreevey has always pushed back against that. You know, earlier this week we released that audit. That's right. And, you know, so a lot of people are taking it with a grain of salt, given Sudhan's current legal predicament. But regardless, you know, that board certainly is, I would say last year into this year has been more politically charged than I've ever seen it before. I mean, to be honest with you, when I started doing this in 14, you know, for Hudson County View anyway, like I didn't even know what JSEP was, really.
Interesting.
So,
you know, and that was an interesting article that you published, John, just this past week, right? That, you know, that new audit came out by the New York-based accounting firm, and they realized that, just to stick on this topic, if we can for a moment, you know, it's interesting that they said that there were obviously, they didn't say that McGreevey, former Governor Jim McGreevey, did anything criminal, but that nonetheless, that there was, he may use the employment training program, monies, directing some money to the New Jersey Reentry Corporation, which he's also the principal officer of. And in fact, the New York-based accounting firm, the gentleman there, the accountant who performed the audit, said that the New Jersey Reentry Corporation should probably pay like over close to $3 million worth of salaries back to JSEP.
That's correct, Mark. I mean, that's essentially, in a couple sentences, what the audit said. Now, of course, McGreevey is saying that this is all nonsense. This was all orchestrated by Thomas, and you know, that they had at least nine stellar audits that looked at the similar data points, similar numbers, if not the exact same numbers in some cases, and they came up with obviously starkly different conclusions, saying that JSEP, you know, was basically clean as a whistle. So,
yeah, reviewed by a Bayonne accounting firm and a Bayonne law firm. Yeah,
so, you know, they obviously came with two completely different conclusions. So, you know, whether you want to call this audit gospel or you want to call it fugazi nonsense, as Sudhan used to say, I guess, you know, beauty in the eye of the beholder kind of thing. But it's out there. All 10 audits actually are out there on that story on our website, and people can read it. I mean, I hope you have a lot of time on your hands if you're going to crack those open. We're talking 377 pages.
Of course.
But, you know, certainly they could draw their own conclusions. So with that, you know, we haven't really spoke too much about the Attorney General charges for Sudhan, but the interesting thing there, I mean, it's all interesting, I think, for anybody that cares about this kind of stuff, but it says $35,000 in cash bribes, and it says that this cooperating witness, who's been identified as Matt O'Donnell, a former tax appeal attorney in Jersey City, has Sudhan on a wire. Now, despite that, and despite the allegations of writing checks to cash at JSEP, which appeared to be found true by the U.S. attorney, Sudhan saying he's innocent in both cases, and this is all politics, and he actually blamed the New Jersey AG indictment on Grubir Gruwal's, you know, political ambitions.
And also Sudhan is saying that he's become a target because he's been suing the state, or sued the state for over, what, I think over $1 billion worth of funding that, according to him and others, believe that because of this upcoming state aid cuts, that they need to sue the state for that kind of money to be able to continue to fund the school system.
Yes. So before the end of the today, we'll let you know how that hearing went. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. I'm off next week, but great to see you again. We'll see you soon.